D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my week in review, where I come to you every Sunday with 3 entertainment stories, and I find interesting, and we discuss them down below. Now, also down below, you can find the articles that I read to bring you this story, and you can read those and come up with your own opinion or whatever, or you can just watch this video and listen to me because I just break them all down. First off, I want to just say happy 4th of July to everybody out there who is from the United States of America. It's our 4th of July, our Independence Day, woo, and everything, and I hope you have a great 4th. Now, also before I get started, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithms, and small channels like myself usually get pushed to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. I also ask that you do this to any other small YouTuber because I'm pretty sure they would appreciate it also. So why don't we go ahead and get started? And so for my first story of this week, and this one is this one is so exciting. And so Aquaman has started filming. It started filming this week and everything. And they put out this picture. Now, if you are on Twitter or any social media, they released the name of the movie. It's called Aquaman, the Lost Kingdom and the Lost Kingdom. And now if you look at this picture, it's kind of like an icy setting, there's like, looks like glacial and stuff and everything. And this could be the Lost Kingdom that they're talking about. If you remember in the first movie, they had the 7 kingdoms, but there was one that they didn't name off and everything. And so we didn't get any information about it. And it looks like in this movie, they're going to be visiting that one. So what is the Lost Kingdom? Now, if you notice in this picture, they have the word Necris. And when I saw it, I was like, well, what is Necris? And I immediately, of course, started Googling. And I found out that Necris is an underwater city that is unique in that it only exists in very brief individuals of time and can never be found in the same location twice. Now, Necris, like Atlantis, is another doomed underwater city. Unlike Atlantis, though, Necris has a more unstable status in the ocean. Necris only exists on the material plane for brief periods of time, and it also has no fixed location, also appearing at different points when it once again manifests in the sea. Unbeknownst to the citizens of Necris or Atlantis, for that matter, Necris owes its existence to an alien satellite that periodically enters Earth's orbit as it moves through the galaxy. Now, Earth's magnetic field triggers a device built into the satellite that opens a hole in dimensional space. From that hole emerges Necris. Now, the location of Necris is entirely dependent on the position of the satellite on Earth's orbit at the time of the dimensional rift it formed. And then it goes on to say Necris is known as the Black City, and it is ruled over by the tyrant king Mongo, which I'll put up some pictures of him and everything. Its society seems to be wholly militaristic, and the last time Necris appeared on Earth, its citizens slaughtered a surface outpost that was under construction in the environs just outside Necris. And it says Necris then went to war with Atlantis for its continued acceptance of surface dwellers residing in the ocean. Now, I think this sounds very, very interesting as far as that goes, and I wonder how much they'll play into this. Obviously, maybe it'll have a climate change kind of storyline as far as that goes. Also, it'll be interesting to see this new city. If this is, I think because it's the Lost Kingdom and Necris, is on there. So obviously that's it and everything. Now, obviously, I also think that it'll appear in some kind of like Antarctica or, some kind of, icy country of some sorts. And in the comic books, I can't remember exactly what happened because it's a newer comic book, but it's been a while since I read it. But there was the King of Atlantis when he sunk the Atlantis into the sea, his corpse was in like some kind of icy thing. I remember him walking across it. I just can't remember the whole storyline, just because it's like I said, it's been a while since I read the comic books. Should have busted him out before I started this video, but I didn't. Whatever. Anyways, so I think this sounds great, and I wonder if Mongo will be the king of Atlantis or Necros, and if they'll have like like a dueling kind of new Atlantis, kind of like they did with Ocean Master and then Dolph Lundgren's character. I can't remember what now. Now, Amber Heard is returning for this movie, to much of the chagrin of some people. Myself, I don't know. I'm very torn because, like, this is the thing. I don't like Amber Heard, but I do want her to keep playing Mira, only because I don't like when they recast. I just don't like it. Also will be reappearing is Patrick Wilson's Ocean Master, but from what I understand, he'll be taking more of a Loki-esque role where he's not really like a villain. But he is a villain kind of thing. Like, he's always looking for his way to get in there. And I think this is great. I love Aquaman. If you watch my channel on the regular, you know that Aquaman is my favorite DC character. I just love this character. I always have. He's so great, and I love Jason Momoa playing him. I will always be grateful to Zack Snyder for making him this badass kind of like biker dude, because, a lot of people always made fun of me when I was growing up that I liked Aquaman because he was always like, all he does is talk to fish, and I'm like, that's not all he does and everything. So I love Jason Momoa in this role, and I cannot wait for this movie. I have a little bit of a bias. So that is my first story of the week. So for my second story of the week, it looks like Tobias Menzies is in talks to play Sinestro in the Green Lantern Corps TV show for HBO Max. Now, this story comes from Illuminati, which has a pretty good track record, in my opinion. I mean, most of the time I think they're right. So I think that this is a good thing. And when usually people are in talks, it just means usually they're playing it. They're just waiting to sign on the dotted line. Now, if you remember before, I reported the two other castings, which was Finn Wittrock and Jeremy Irvine. They were both cast as Guy Gardner and Alan Scott. You can check out those stories in the iCard section and everything. And it looks like they found their THAAL Sinestro, and that is Tobias Menzies. Now, if you don't know who he is, he was in the show Rome, and if you didn't watch that, he was also in The Crown, and then he also was in Game of Thrones. And then most recently, Outlander. He was in Outlander. He was kind of like the bad guy there and everything. And now the character description for Sinestro shows that the Green Lantern series will be focusing on the early life of Sinestro, who was a standout member of the Corps. Sinestro is eventually forced out of the Green Lantern Corps after he abuses his power and becomes one of the Corps' greatest enemies, using the Yellow Lantern power ring and creating the Sinestro Corps. The character description hints at his fated fall from the Green Lantern Corps. Now, who is THAAL Sinestro? THAAL Sinestro's character description for the upcoming series describes him as a warrior monk and the greatest of all Green Lanterns. Sinestro is serving as a strategic commander for the Corps, with all other Lanterns unquestionably following his orders. Now, Sinestro is the personification of grace under pressure, with unrivaled resolve and wisdom, but a dark destiny belies his otherwise zen demeanor. Now, I have to just say, first off, Tobias Menzies, great pick. Love that guy. He's so good at his job and everything. I like him as an actor. In Game of Thrones, he played such a small role, but and I don't watch The Crown. Now, Rome, I did watch Rome, but I don't remember him off the top of my head because it's just been so long. But Outlander, watched it, loved him in that. He did such a good job. So I think that this is a great choice for Sinestro in this show. And I can't wait to see this show and see what exactly they're going to do. As far as Sinestro goes, Sinestro is such a great bad guy. And I can't wait to see, his fall from grace and everything. I mean, we've seen it before. I mean, especially in the comic books, but we've seen it in animation. So it'll be interesting to see what all they do there, and as far as that goes. And I'm quite excited for it, if you ask me. I think that I'll definitely be watching this show just to see, how it's going to play out. And I'm quite excited about it. So that is my second story of the week. And for my third and final story of the week, so it looks like Allison Mack, the star of Smallville, has been sentenced in the NXIVM case. Now, Allison Mack played Chloe Sullivan on Smallville, and if you didn't watch that show, Chloe Sullivan was a character created just for the show of Smallville. And that took place with Clark Kent before he becomes Superman. And it was quite a journey, whole 10 seasons. But the first, I would say 4 seasons were basically focused on him in high school. And Chloe was his best friend, and she had what was called the Wall of Weird, and they talked about the meteor freaks. And this was a character, like I said before, was created just for the show. And I liked Chloe on the show. She ended up taking a smaller role because Allison Mack wanted to leave the show, I guess. But yeah, like I said, I like this character. She was like a hacker or whatnot and everything. But then she became involved in NXIVM. Now, what was NXIVM? NXIVM was basically a sex cult. And what happened was they pawned it off as this self-help group, like this, you brought these people in, she would bring these people in, then they would basically, convert them and brainwash them into basically becoming a sex cult. They would have sex with the leader, which his name was Keith Rainier. I think I'm saying his name right, which he was sentenced to 22 years in prison. But basically, they would bring these women in, brainwash them, and it was mostly women. It was like pretty much like all women. It was like 99.9% all women, and they were basically just brainwashed into having sex with Keith Rainier. And when they weren't brainwashed, what they do is they would take nude photos of these women, and if you didn't do what they said, they threatened to release them to the public. And I get that because that's scary. Like if you have nude photos of yourself, you do not want those getting out on the internet. How embarrassing would that be? But so these people these women would just have sex with this Keith Rainier guy, and just to keep these photos and everything, they would brand these women with the NXIVM brand, like near their private parts and everything. And one victim described Allison Mack as what did she say? I can't remember. I didn't write down the exact quote, but she got pleasure out of torturing her victims. And I was like, that's so crazy. Now, what did Allison Mack get sentenced? She got sentenced to 3 years in prison, $20,000 fine, and 1,000 hours of community service. Now, if you want my opinion, she got off easy. 3 years in prison for this. I mean, she deserved more because I'm sorry, like what it sounds like torture, what they did to these women. And one woman described it as torture. And it's so sad that you would brainwash these women into having sex with you, and it's so weird, and then pawn it off as a self-help group. Now, other members of the show have talked about Allison Mack and said that they didn't really know what was going on. I remember Michael Rosenbaum said something like, one time she mentioned it and said it was a self-help group or whatnot, but never tried to get him involved in it. And it's just a crazy story and everything. And I'm happy that the Keith Rainier guy is in prison, and I'm happy that Allison Mack did get sentenced. I mean, I think she got off easy, but and she should thank her lucky stars. But yeah, she's a horrible human being. So, all right. So those are my 3 stories of the week. So tell me, what did you guys think about this? How do you feel about this first photo from the Aquaman 2 set, The Lost Kingdom? Are you excited about this? Are you excited about seeing this other underwater city of Necris? Do you think they'll have that King Mongo guy, or do you think they'll change it up and make it somebody new? Are you one of these people that really wants Amber Heard fired? I think now she should be fired. I mean, it's pretty much clear she should be fired, kind of thing. But obviously, she's not going to be fired from this movie. How do you feel about Jason Momoa? How do you feel about Patrick Wilson coming back as Ocean Master? All that good stuff. How do you feel about Tobias Menzies being Sinestro in the Green Lantern show for HBO Max? Are you excited about this? Are you not excited about this? Do you like Sinestro? Who do you think the bad guy will be for this show if it's not Sinestro? Are you excited to see Tobias Menzies and what he's going to bring to the character and how he's going to play it off? You know, all that good stuff. And then how do you feel about Allison Mack being sentenced to 3 years in prison for her part in the NXIVM, sex cult, scandal case, whatever. Are you happy that she's finally going to prison? Do you think she, like me, she got off light and everything and she should have been sentenced more? Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on my Week in Review. You guys have a good week. Bye. Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that geek what icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my Week in Review.